Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to episode number 5 of the Polarizer podcast. Today I'll be talking to Thomas. He's a good friend and a really smart guy who's lived in some interesting parts of this world. The guy wrote his first master's thesis in an embassy in Zimbabwe, and he traveled through South Africa for leisure during that time. His first master's degree is in international law, and he's currently in Taiwan studying Chinese, learning to read and write it and speak it, and besides that, he's working on another master's degree in Asia-Pacific Studies. In his spare time there, he DJs, he hosts parties, and he has a little shoe business going on there as a side business. So very, very ambitious dude, very fun to talk to, very smart guy. Always love talking to him. And we talk about his adventures overseas and the lessons he took from that, and what it's like to be able to speak Chinese, which is pretty cool. And we know each other from being in a rock band when we were in our teens. We were 17 or so. And I threw a little barbecue to get the band back together. We hadn't seen each other in years. So toward the end of the show, the rest of the guys show up and say hi. So that's a fun little moment. As we were recording this, 2 racks of ribs were slow cooking in the big green egg grill in the backyard. So there's a little celebration of the good life coming through in the recording every now and then. Shame the microphones didn't pick up the smell, because damn, that stuff smelled so good, man. Anyway, it was a fun show to record, and I hope you'll enjoy listening to it as much as I did recording it. Tell your friends about the show if you like it. Give us a like on iTunes, give us a review on iTunes and all that good stuff. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, guys.
大家好，你现在在听的 Polarizer Podcast， 你们大家快要中秋这个最好的一个 Podcast 啊，谢谢大家。
All right, you ready to roll, man?
I was born ready.
Like a boss. All right, dude. Well, welcome back to the country.
Yeah, thanks.
How long have you been back now?
I've been back for about 1.5 weeks now. Another few days to go, and then I'll be heading back to Taiwan.
How far are we away from that?
You mean like when I'll be departing back to Taiwan, or?
Yeah.
I'll be leaving next week, Wednesday, so that's
pretty quick.
Yeah.
You've been home for 2 weeks then?
Yeah. Well, you know, you gotta hit the school benches once again. Can't skip too many classes.
True, yeah. Well, your latest trip overseas was Taiwan, obviously, but I wanted to talk first about your trip to Zimbabwe.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Which is an adventure with many interesting stories.
Yeah. Actually, it's already...
First tell me about what your study is and what's the reason for you going there.
Oh, the reason for going to Zimbabwe?
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's not like a holiday destination for most people.
Well, you might be surprised, actually. A lot of people go there for the safari tourism. But at the time, I was studying international law. Also with the aim of ultimately, hopefully, becoming a diplomat. So, you know, Zimbabwe is a country with a number of challenges, to say the least.
Right.
Yeah, and as a diplomat in the foreign service, serving your country abroad, I believe it's important to not be shy of tackling any challenges. For sure. And in that sense, Zimbabwe is full of challenges.
Yeah, you went in at the deep end right away. I mean...
True. On the one hand, as I say, Zimbabwe has a lot of areas where it can improve upon. But on the other hand, it is a relatively stable country. When people think of sub-Saharan Africa, they often think of civil wars.
Is it though? Because they got the hyperinflation going on, and
actually, they did have that. That was in about 2009. They within a few years they went from spending 1 Zimbabwean dollar notes to literally spending 100 trillion Zimbabwean notes. So
100 trillion.
100 trillion, literally. Yeah.
Wow.
So as you can imagine, that currency didn't end up so well.
Jesus.
It went bust, and people basically lost all their savings. savings.
Even if you wipe your ass with it, that's cheaper than buying toilet paper.
That is correct, Dick. Yeah. That is correct. That is correct. So rather soon afterwards, they started using American dollars,
right?
Which they in turn obviously couldn't print themselves. They had to import.
No,
which
thank God.
Yeah, which led to pretty disgusting American dollar notes. Because in a regular system, the central bank would take out of rotation the bills that become dirty or they get torn, and they just put in new ones. But that wasn't the case in Zimbabwe. So on occasion, you would rather spend your newly earned dollars as soon as possible rather than keep them in your wallet for any second longer.
Wow. You can't even, I don't know, like that's not something I would come up with myself. Holy shit. Like, that's a problem that's so foreign to us. That's
Indeed. But I must tell you, Dick, I've had some good times in Zimbabwe.
Oh yeah, I believe you, man. You told me some crazy stories. Like,
there's a very close international community.
Okay.
And the weather is great, and you can definitely see some interesting wildlife.
But there's a chopper, man. They're coming for you.
Oh no! Sending me back to Taiwan a bit sooner.
Or the Zimbabwean government.
That's the Zimbabwean government.
Do they have helicopters down there?
Yeah, a bit few. Not as many as in Netherlands, maybe, but
pretty sure Mugabe has a couple of private ones.
I'm sure he does. Yeah.
But tell me some crazy adventures too, man, because I want to hear the cool stories.
The cool stories.
Like I remember a story where you went to some bar and you looked at some guy the wrong way or something, and someone found a reason out of nowhere to be angry with you, and you were in a car chase for like half an hour, and
that was mostly actually in South Africa, where I also spent a little bit of time.
Oh, okay. That wasn't Zimbabwe.
I spent a bit of time in Zimbabwe, a bit of time in South Africa on exchange from a university before. But yeah, that's where we had times where, when we were on the highway and like maybe the driver looked a little funny at the driver of another car. They just started racing each other. Me shitting myself on the passenger seat. Yeah,
and they're all old, beat to shit cars that are falling apart.
Oh yeah, they call them bakkies. They're like pickup trucks. But yeah, it comes from the Afrikaans word like a buck, like a bakkie.
Yeah, which is kind of like Dutch in a way.
Indeed. But yeah, like in Zimbabwe, occasionally we would travel. Oh yeah, I have a good story for you. There's one time we were driving back from a holiday from the south of Zimbabwe, going back to Harare, the capital. And the Zimbabwean police, they're quite notorious for their corruption. They would try to make money in any way they can.
Right.
A tactic that they would use often is basically pulling people over for alleged traffic offenses. Say like, oh, your taillight's not working, or your reflectors are not sticked on your car properly,
or you're speeding.
So at one point,
do they have radar guns down there?
I do not recall, but they might do.
But they know for sure that you're speeding, though.
Yeah, of course, through their objective judgment. So anyways, we were driving back, and there was a roadblock. And, here in Europe, we are not really accustomed to confronting police giving signs to how to stop or when to pull over. At least I am not.
Right. Well, much. I mean, like normal people in a civilized society, they comply with police.
Yeah. So I saw these police making these like funny motions with his hand. So I thought that this guy has told me to pull over. So, I pull over, and then the police comes up to me. He's like, "Sir, why didn't you stop?" I'm like, "I did stop. I'm sitting here on the side of the road." That's where he said, "No, the sign that I made was just to stop right in front of me, not to pull over. So I'm going to have to fine you $50 for that." So at that time, I was starting to get a little pissed because, this is obviously an injustice that's being inflicted upon us. But fortunately, there was there was a person sitting in our car that was working for the UN with one of those nice blue passports.
So he was wise to it.
So then I told the police officer, I'm transporting a UN personnel back to Harare.
I have a VIP.
Here, this is her passport, her nice shiny blue UN passport. We need to go back now because we're running late. And that's where the officer actually started to become a bit tense, a bit scared, because they have to reply to the superiors, and if they get yelled at for stopping a UN officer, that might later jeopardize their job security. So at that point, the guy just let us through.
Damn.
Yeah, good times.
That's kind of damn. Did you get like a fake one of those made for yourself? That's the first thing I would have done, man.
No, because like paying $50 for a traffic offense is one thing, but
no, it seems like having one of those things makes you able to get away with anything. I mean.
Yeah. Though initially, because the car that I bought was actually diplomatic plates at one point, even though I wasn't a diplomat, but I still had the urge to get the regular plates on there as quick as possible, because yes, they do not stop diplomatic plate cars, so that's quite a benefit. But if you get caught driving a diplomatic car while you're actually not a diplomat,
that's pretty that's a pretty big offense.
You don't want to do that in Zimbabwe, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. But I mean, if they figure out, they'll probably just beat the shit out of you, right?
Well, honestly, I don't think they would, because people say like Zimbabwe is rough, it's a jungle. But what the people do, it's usually for their benefit or their interest still. Right. So they would rather make a lot more money than just beating the living hell out of you, because they don't get any benefit from that either.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't serve their interest, so to speak.
That's about right.
Yeah, because I have a friend who lived in South Africa for a while, and he had some stories. Like I might have talked about this on another show before this one, but they were driving down the road, and they were sitting in front of a light. A guy came up to the car, opened the door, and tried to yank the driver out of the car and just carjack them.
Oh dear!
But he had a seatbelt on, and apparently not
always hook your seatbelt, huh?
Exactly. Also for that reason, apparently, because a lot of people over there apparently don't wear seatbelts because they just don't give a shit. And so the guy didn't expect that, and there were two other people sitting in the car, and once he tried to grab the driver, he couldn't. The guy in his passenger seat grabbed the guy, and the guy in the back grabbed the guy too, so they dragged him into the car.
What?
Yeah, so they dragged him into the car, and then these were locals, so they knew how things worked down there. And okay, go, and they drove down some quiet road, and they just beat the fuck out of him and left him bleeding by the side of the road and moved on.
Yeah, I can imagine that you have a little bit of anger when someone tries to carjack you. Yeah.
Yeah, and he had a gun on him too. Yeah. So that was crazy shit. Yeah.
In that sense, I would say that South Africa might be a bit more dangerous when it comes to these crimes to you as a person than Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is actually quite safe if you know where to go and where not to go at certain times.
Right. I remember you telling a story too when you got into a traffic accident. And you kind of had to flee the scene in a way because there was like a lynch mob slowly forming around you.
Let me see.
Yeah, you told me so many stories over the years, man.
I've been involved in so many weird situations.
Yeah, but that story impressed me. Like I remember you told me, I don't know, it was just a fender bender, just a little thing, and you called the police, and then the police didn't show up for an hour, and people were getting angrier and angrier, and then their friends started to show up, and you were drawing attention from all sides, and after a while there was like this big group of people around you, and then eventually you decided to just jump in your car and take off.
Yeah, I can recall that, Dick. Sorry.
I remember that story very vividly, though.
Are you sure it was with me?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was you, man.
Because I know you've met a lot of interesting figures over your travels as well.
I'm pretty good at linking stories to people. I remember you telling me that story when I lived in Rotterdam, where we're sitting on the balcony.
Oh, there was this a time in South Africa though, when we were heading out in the forest. We were just having some drinks with some guys in Cape Town, and at that time there was we all of a sudden like, oh yeah, all my friends they suddenly ran towards the car, and I was a bit shocked because it was dark and I wasn't really I didn't really know what was going on, so I just also ran back to the car, and then my mates told me like, yeah, there was like a scream very close by, and it's like super sketchy because South Africa, kind of like violent crime is quite high. So at that point we just raced off. Yeah, that's one of the experiences.
That's a different story though, but that's scary, man.
Yeah, and I wasn't even sure because we were a little intoxicated. We had some beers, and the guys, I didn't even believe them at first. I thought they were just making a joke, just trying to yeah. But yeah, they said no, for real. Next day I asked my friend, he's like, yeah, we heard that, and we're not trying to mess with you. Real stuff.
Right.
Crazy stuff.
That's wild, man. Yeah. Wow. All right. I'm going to check on the grill for a second because that thing's starting to heat up.
How are you feeling?
Feeling good, man. It's a beautiful day. The grill's going. We got a beer. It's all good.
It is a beautiful day. We'll be eating some spare ribs later. Slow cooked spare ribs. 5-6 hour slow cook. We also got some nice steak that we'll be having. And I myself brought some nice locally brewed alcohol from Taiwan that we'll be consuming at a later stage as well.
Ah, sweet, man. Yeah, it's important to enjoy these kinds of things in life, man.
It is.
Yeah, we got the big green egg going, and we're gonna slow cook some spare ribs on that in a little bit, or some ribs, I should say. I mean, I don't know why we call it spare ribs down here, but yeah, everywhere else they just call them ribs, man. And those things are going to be in there for like 5 hours.
It's always good to keep something spare, right?
But it's going to be delicious, man. I'm so looking forward to it already.
Likewise.
But yeah, dude. So yeah, you went to South Africa first. That's right. Yeah, I keep mixing those two things up because I've never been to either place. And
other neighboring countries, and they do have their similarities. Yes.
Okay.
In Zimbabwe, I did an internship. I did 2 internships. One at the European delegation in Zimbabwe, and the other one at the embassy of the Netherlands in Zimbabwe.
Right.
Yeah. In total, about 9 to 10 months.
What would your day look like?
My day? Well, at the European delegation, my responsibilities were more in the research department. So at that time, Zimbabwe had just recently adopted a new constitution, but a lot of the constitutional laws were still in conflict with the, at that time, currently existing domestic laws. Well, if you have any idea about laws, constitutional laws, they have primacy over domestic laws, meaning that they trump the other laws when there is a conflict.
Right. There's the Constitution is rules over everything. That's,
exactly.
The United States is a good example of that. They have a Constitution, and it's very, very, very hard to change anything in it. So that's why the whole free speech thing that's going on down there. People want to censor others because they don't want to be offended or whatever. And then the answer is always, well, First Amendment, bitch. That's free speech. That's it.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So yeah, but at that time when they had recently adopted a new constitution, there were still a lot of conflicts with regular domestic laws, especially domestic laws in the security department, which were still being used by the police, even though they might be in conflict with the new constitution.
Right.
So the diplomats there, the real diplomats, I was only a little intern, right?
Right.
They would always tell the Zimbabwean government about their concerns about this conflict between the rights that the new constitution would guarantee, as opposed to the laws which were being used by the police to crack down on anyone who might be opposed to the government.
Right. That's pretty tricky.
Yeah. So my job was basically to make a detailed overview of what these conflicts were, so that the diplomats could not only just say very broadly the difference, the conflict between the new constitution and the domestic laws, but actually say which laws were being violated in that sense.
That's a pretty big project, man.
Yeah, I spent about 2 months full time making a nice little database on that, and I hope they made good use of it.
What did you find?
I found that
Just the cliff notes.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, I found that mostly the security laws, for instance, preventing people from meeting together and discussing their political activities as the opposition. There was domestic laws that prevented that, or stated that they first need to ask permission from the police in order to have that meeting, whilst the new constitution would then protect the freedom of peaceful assembly. Right. So that's obviously a clash, but nevertheless, the police
was pretty
still,
big one too.
It is.
Yeah.
It definitely is. So in general, it was mostly the conflict between the security laws and the human rights guaranteed by the new constitution, and what I said just now is more of one of these clashes. Yeah.
Okay. And where are they now? Like, have they figured it out, or?
To be honest with you, Dick, I haven't been monitoring the situation as closely as I was a few years ago. Okay. I was there about 4 years ago. But yeah, Zimbabwe currently is still not in the state that it could be, right, given their vast mineral resources.
Yes. Yeah, that's true for a lot of countries down there. I mean, if everyone would have their shit together, that continent would be the most should technically be should be the best place on earth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, it's very difficult to find the reasons why particularly Southern African countries are struggling so much with corruption. Rather have 5 Bentleys than put more money in the health system.
Right.
But yeah, that's one for academics and policymakers to find out. But if you have the answer, Dick, I'm sure everyone is longing to hear it.
I know there's, well, I don't have the answer, obviously. Yeah. But, I know there's a lot of research on it. Also a lot of very controversial research. I think that's a big part of the hurdle too. I mean, there are some things that are uncomfortable to talk about. I think that's a big part of why it takes so long.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when it comes to, factors like culture or religion. People don't want to hear that their culture or their religion, the structure of their society is it could be one of the reasons why, they're...
Well, it's most likely one of the reasons, let's be honest.
It might or might not, but nevertheless, what I mean is... people don't like to hear these things.
No, and even looking in from the outside, coming to that conclusion, well, I can see why people would get uncomfortable with that. So, yeah, it's complicated, man.
It is. It's a question that the international community has been struggling with for decades.
Yeah, and then there's also a lot of interests for a lot of countries.
Oh, for sure.
Especially China, they're buying up huge pieces of Africa. And they're basically slowly taking over, and and everything China does is mainly vested in their own interest.
Actually, I did write an essay on that particular subject in my.
Well, am I correct or?
Yes.
Yeah. But like what they're doing with Africa now, like they build a new road, and in exchange, they got a huge piece of territory or something. And short term, that's great for the people who live there, but long term, not really. And that's what's happening all over the place. I mean, China's going crazy, man. Like, I think half of the most expensive buildings and condos in New York City are owned by foreign Chinese people.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild, man. And I've been in New Zealand a couple of years ago, and especially Auckland. I was just shocked by how big the Chinese population was there, and a lot of Chinese businesses too, and also not just like little delis, but pretty big stores, and they were just Chinese.
Like Chinatowns all like all over the place.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, and apparently like they're also buying like tons of land over there. Yeah.
Well, the foreign direct investment in China is immense. So currently the Chinese they do have a lot of money to go into international ventures.
Right.
In addition, their political system is obviously not a democracy. The state has an enormous control of both public and private life, and also where investments take place. So from a power perspective, more realist perspective, you could say that China has an advantage in this sense.
Oh, for sure,
over Western states.
Yeah, dude, they have so much advantages. Like they have an enormous labor force that's willing to work for very little money, or they have no choice the way things are now, pretty much. So production is extremely cheap. And we were talking about earlier before the show about like climate and pollution and shit. Over here we drive cars with tiny little engines just because we want to do good, and if you got solar panels on your roof, you get rewarded for it. But so over here we're trying really, really hard, and over there they just don't give a fuck about anything. They just dump everything in the rivers. They burn everything, like chemical burns out in the open, no filters, no, they just don't give a fuck. And so basically, like we are like the entire West, like every Europe and the United States, like everyone's driving with the parking brake engaged, kind of like we were slowing ourselves down because we just try to be good people and try to be good for the environment. But China's like, oh no, we don't give a shit, like full speed ahead, Jack.
Well, recently, and obviously, like China, the main difference between China and the West, or I would say Europe now, because America is kind of going back, is that China has a more.
Let me stop you there. I mean, okay, America's doing some things, but if you take everything in consideration, like they have big regulations on everything. I mean, like the whole coal thing that's in the news now, but that's just a small part of what they're doing. Like, and even so, if they. And sure, there's pollution in the States too, for sure. And in some places way too much. But it still doesn't even come in the ballpark of what China is doing.
China, over the last few decades, has been, and even though right now still, it is pursuing a policy that basically aims to enlarge the national interest, like of the state, rather than, if you look here in Europe, we go for the personal interests. Like,
sure.
If
to a point though.
Yeah. If people in Beijing, like so many people a year die in Beijing of cancer related to smog, that does not necessarily decrease the interest. That doesn't necessarily affect the interests of China as a whole, especially if they can spend the money that they save on cleaning air, on funding projects like the One Belt, One Road policy, or investing in new condos in New York City, one of the most influential cities in the world.
One Belt, One Road, what's that?
One Belt, One Road, that is the Chinese policy of basically making a connection between Europe and China. So that's the road part.
Okay.
That's mostly a high-speed rail, or also for trade and railing over containers.
A high-speed rail between China and Europe.
Yeah, that's one of their projects, and they're already hard on the way on that.
Holy shit!
Yeah, actually, the final stop will be I think it will be Amsterdam.
It would more likely be Rotterdam, I'd say, because of the the harbor here, and we got a huge distribution center.
Actually, that
probably Rotterdam, man.
That could also be the case, indeed.
Yeah,
and
it's a better city anyway, you know that.
Of course it is, Dick. Of course. And then the belt is mostly a sea route. So in that sense, you might know that the Chinese recently bought. I'm not sure which harbor it is in Greece. I think it's either Thessaloniki or Piraeus.
I remember reading that. Yeah,
that's part of the One Belt strategy. It's to buy areas, to buy ports, so that they can connect everything, streamline everything to basically ingrain China further in the global trade.
Right. And because if that's port ran by the Chinese, then.
Yeah, and even Sri Lanka, that's like, I recently read in the newspaper an article, quite interesting, and also it highlights the cunningness that the Chinese have, and also the ruthlessness in expanding their national interests. They initially made large amounts of loans to Sri Lanka, such big loans that you would probably say, well, these loans, they're not going to be paid back.
Right.
But, the Nepalese, the Sri Lankans, if that's what the person
Sri Lankan people?
The Sri Lankan people, they obviously, they grabbed that money with their both hands.
Right.
However, when the time came to pay back and that they couldn't, they were forced to accept, I think it was 50 or 100-year lease on a large area of Sri Lankan territory where the Chinese can basically do whatever they want.
Wow, that's loan sharking, man. That's mafia shit, literally.
And that's how you basically you get control of countries without making war. That's the new era.
Yeah. Jesus, that's good. I think it was like 1 or 2 years ago, they gave the finger to the US as well. Remember when they're creating a bunch of islands?
Oh, in the South China Sea. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's those areas. There's a conflict between which country it belongs to.
Yeah, China and the Philippines.
Yeah. They don't agree. Which country owns which parts. And China is like, no, we own it. So fuck you. We're just going to build we're just going to create an island here. And, they got condemned by, the Philippines, but also...
by the International Court of Justice.
Yeah. And also like the US also kind of literally said to him, hey, stop that. We really don't want you doing that. And they're like, oh yeah, no. Yeah. Sorry. I mean, that's, I don't know. That's if that wouldn't have happened in the 90s for sure. Like things have gone so fast, so crazy. I'm gonna grab the ribs, by the way, man. Ponder on that for a minute.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that especially people in the West, that they have an idea that a large part of the world is ideologically driven. But actually, apart from the West, where everyone mostly does have the guarantees of a nice life or on perspectives, actually a very large part of the world, the national policies are mostly driven for the interests of the state as a whole, and not necessarily for that of the individual person. Like the South China Sea example is a good example of that. There are a number of states which claim that area, the islands in that area, not only China and the Philippines, but also Taiwan and Malaysia, and if I'm correct, I think it is Japan, but I'm not 100% sure on that last one. But yeah, in those cases, China built artificial islands, also militarized them, and even after the judgment of the International Court of Justice, where it did state that these islands, or a part of these islands, actually belong to the Philippines, China nevertheless just continued building. But you must put things in perspective. You cannot just say that there is an axis of evil and that the West is good and that the East, that they're or that China is the opposite of that. I think we're just living in different times. If you look at 100 years in the West, like First World War, that's purely based on geopolitical power. So which state has the biggest power and influence over other places? And now we're in the West, especially in Europe, in a situation where we try to expand on harmony and individual prosperity rather than that of state interests. But I believe that some countries, especially China, and I think recently the US has been stepping back to such a style of thinking, in the sense that it's more trying to work from the state interest and expand state power rather than expand the welfare of the individual person.
Okay, I missed 3 minutes of that, but I'm sure it was interesting.
Oh, well, thank you for your confidence in me, Dick.
Yeah. Now we need to wait a couple of minutes, probably half an hour before the coals are nice and glowing.
They're not ready for the ribs yet.
Not yet.
You gotta do some pre-gaming first. You gotta get them coals nice and warm first before you stick in the ribs, no, Dick?
Yeah. That's a cool story, bro.
Hey. To break the seriousness of this conversation real quick.
Where the fuck did that come from?
Damn.
All right. Yeah, but all right. So fuck, what were we talking about?
We were talking about China. I think that's a nice that's a nice bridge to Taiwan, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Yeah, last year the third stop on my trip around the world was your crib down in Taiwan, man.
Taiwan.
I went from South Korea to Japan, back to South Korea, and then to Taiwan. So that was still at the beginning of my big trip
of your Asia dip.
Yeah, and after Taiwan, we went to the Philippines, and then after that, I went to Australia, where I spent a year.
Yeah,
and then I went to Thailand, and then
US.
No, Thailand, Bali, Thailand, and then the US.
Bali, Indonesia.
Yes,
beautiful place, no?
Oh man, it's awesome.
Definitely recommend the listeners to go to that place. Beautiful.
Yeah. If you there's great surfing there. And just the nicest people I've ever met. I was I found the people in Taiwan very nice. Japan also very, very pleasant. Thailand is nice and friendly too, but they're more, they kind of figured it out and they're after your money now mostly.
They see your pretty face and they think he must have some money on him.
They see my pretty wallet.
Oh,
yeah, but then in Bali, man, like people there were just so kind.
Like spiritually in balance, like balanced out people. Yeah,
they just constantly wanted to make you feel good and do good things for you, and it was completely sincere, and also towards one another. Everyone just really helps each other out, and it's just I love that down there, man. Yeah. I was deeply impressed by it. Yeah, for example, at one point, me and my friend, we needed to, sorry, a little sidebar here, but me and my friend, we needed to go to the other side of town, and there was some big event going on, and traffic was just stuck, and at one point, you weren't allowed to be on the road anymore. I don't know, just a big, huge deal. We didn't know that, but we needed to get back to our place, and yeah, we called a guy we met there, just a local. And he said, "Oh yeah, let me help you out. Where are you?" And here. After 20 minutes, two dudes show up on scooters, and they just drive us all through the entire city to the other place. Yeah, and we were like, thank you so much. We wanted to pay them for it, because
it's a nice thing to do, right?
Yeah, and we wanted to pay them like 10,000. I forget if it was 10,000 or 100,000. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think it was 100,000 rupees, which is like $7. And that's a nice big tip. But if someone we were on those things for almost an hour, you know, and so it's still not that much money really, but for there, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you can, I think it would translate to probably like $30 or $40 or something.
Yeah.
So, but you know, to us it's $7. So, and they had such a hard time taking it. You know, no, please, man, we want you to take it. So we kind of had to
force it into their hand.
Kind of, yeah. Like, come on, man, just you know. And but they were no. We just wanted to help you. You don't have to pay us for that. And we tried to say, well, we know, but we still. You know, because we like you, we just want to buy you a couple of beers and make sure you have a good night tonight. And it was only when we framed it that way that they would take our money. You know,
like, all right, thanks.
Yeah. So, but they wouldn't just take money just to take it. You know, it's,
kind souls.
Yeah, I found it very. That had a pretty made a profound impression on me. But, yeah.
Yeah,
it's a great place, man.
It's these personal experience that really shape your image and your feelings about a certain place.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Because you know, like in the beginning, I was kind of like talking shit and joking about Africa and shit. But shit, I'd never been there. You know, like I'm sure I would have a completely different idea about the place if I were there. You know.
Yeah.
I just when I and that's even true for Japan or the States or whatever. I really had no idea what those places were like until I've been there. And even if your preconceived notions seem pretty accurate, because you know you can say, well, I see movies on TV all the time, or I'm way into all Japanese culture and stuff. If you're there, it's always just different than what you've imagined, man.
Yeah, for sure. Personal experience, it's all about that, man.
Yeah, it's the only thing that's completely accurate.
Exactly.
Write that down, man. Put it on a t-shirt.
Write that down. Copyright now, right now.
Yeah. But, so Taiwan, you went there to...
Still go there.
You are still there. You've been there now for like 2.5 years, I think?
2 years, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
One more year to go.
You went there to learn more about your field of, obviously, but you also went there to learn Chinese. You can fucking read Chinese and write Chinese and talk Chinese. I mean,
yeah.
That's still like a superpower to me, man.
Well, you know, they don't call me Superman for nothing, Dick.
But dude, Chinese, what the fuck?
Yeah, man. After I finished my first master's in international law, what I just mentioned, I was about 24 years old, and I didn't really feel that I just wanted to start working just yet.
Right.
Which
is smart.
Yeah, actually, you were one of the people who encouraged me, who advised me in the sense that, well, when you actually do start working, that's when your working life starts. You'll be doing that about till you're 50 or 60. So, you know, make the most of what you got, and if you can, you know, have a bit of travels before you start working, you know, do that.
Yeah, for sure.
And in addition, at that time, my English and my Dutch were fine, but to start in diplomacy, you do need strong language skills in the third language. And at that time, my French was okay, but compared to other people who spoke French, you know, it's nothing.
Yeah, for those who don't know, in the Netherlands, in high school, we get Dutch, English, French, and German. And most Dutch people speak decent German and French as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I was as well, but not really to a level that was fluent, you know, which you probably require to.
Yeah, I'm there still with you, man. But, but it's fun though, man. Like last year I think that's 2 or 3 years ago. Fuck, I'm getting old, man. Mixing up the years. But I did a road trip to Germany for a week, and in the beginning I was just very awkward with it, but by the end of the week it came back, man. I was just kind of, you know.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I was just speaking German. It was cool.
Oh man, that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyways.
It's just a fun skill to have, but then, you know, that's still Roman letters and
the funny thing with Chinese is that especially at the start, when you start learning the language, you have to learn both the character and the pronunciation, because opposite to like for instance, if you look at Korean, you can see from the characters what the pronunciation is about, because their characters are made up out of sound parts.
Okay.
But Chinese is not.
It's by the way, the Korean writing system is apparently the most efficient one in existence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So with Chinese, you have to learn both the character, which often has the meaning of the word in it, and then also the pronunciation as well. But yeah, so I went to Taiwan first because after I graduated from my master's.
But why is pronunciation so important?
Because it's language.
No, I understand, but the way you tell it seems like it's a bigger deal than it is in our language.
Well, if you have the let's say if you have the word for English school,
right?
It reads school, so you would be able to read from that straight away how it's pronounced. But if we would have a little drawing, an ancient drawing of what a ancient school used to be like, and we would be using that picture in order to use to depict the meaning of the word school in writing, you would then also have to study, this word or this drawing, this character is actually pronounced school.
Okay, and is there a consistency in there?
There is. For starting Chinese learners, it is pretty hard because you have to do double studies, so the character and the pronunciation.
No, but I mean, are there certain lines that have the same meaning or the same pronunciation between different words?
Yes, there are. So as I said just now, when you start learning, you have to study everything. But at a certain time, because these characters, they are often being used in combination with other characters to shape a new word. And when you have studied or learned a certain part of that character, you can often guess what the sound is going to be approximately like.
Okay.
So the further you get, the easier the speed at which you learn new characters also increases.
Okay. Huh. That's interesting. I think you explained like the word for mom.
Yes.
That is like love and house or something like that. I don't know. It was...
Let's see. Well, the word for I have another nice example. The word for good, hao, what many people know as ni hao, right?
Okay.
Hao is like ni hao is like how are you, and then hao is good. The word hao, the character hao, it consists out of two parts. The left one being a woman, and the right part being a child. So, put the two together and you do get an idea of the cultural connection with, or the thought of like the ancient Chinese and what they considered as being good.
Right. Yeah. That's so interesting.
Or safe, have a roof over a woman.
Oh, how do you say that in Chinese?
Well, that particular character is an, but if you would say the whole like safety, you would add another character, would be Anquan.
Anquan.
About.
Well, to me that sounds exactly the same, but that tells you how how subtle it is.
There are subtle differences, yeah. But beautiful language, actually, as opposed to what many people think.
It's a phonetic language, I think. It's what it's called.
Yeah, for tones. So if you would use the word ma, you would say like ma 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 ma. That's like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
So the 4 different tones.
Can you do that with a couple of other words? That's kind of cool.
Yeah, we can say it with the word wang. Like you can say wang 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 wang. Or zao 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 zao.
Okay, and the way you pronounce it completely changes the meaning of it, right?
Completely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, completely.
So you kind of like every syllable has like 4 different functions.
It is.
That's kind of crazy if you think about it, man.
And then in addition, like the certain pronunciations, they actually mean, they can have a lot of different meanings. So like chang, that can be often, but it can also be to taste. So you would have to look at the context in which it is used. If you have a certain word that can, like for instance, if you have like subject, chang, and then a certain type of food, then you know that it means to taste, right?
Right.
But if you say like subject, chang, verb, then you know that it means often. So it is really about context as well.
Right. Huh. Can you say in Chinese, you're listening to the Polarizer podcast?
Polarizer and podcast. I'm not too sure.
No, but you can say those like the.
Yeah.
Put on your best radio voice, man. Get close to the mic.
Polarizer podcast, right?
The Polarizer podcast. The Polarizer. Yeah, visit thepolarizer.com.
大家好，你现在在听的 Polarizer podcast。你们大家快要中秋这个最好的一个 podcast。好，谢谢大家。
That's fucking cool.
I hope I did that with a good radio voice.
Oh man, it was beautiful.
You could use that in China for your advertisements.
Dude, that's gonna be in the intro now, man.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, dude. So that was literally what I just told you to say.
Yeah, basically, everyone, you're listening to Radio Podcast now, the best one. And please, everyone, follow Radio Podcast. Thank you so much.
Man, that's cool. It's funny.
It is definitely a good skill to have.
Oh, man, it opens, and especially since you also speak English, you can go to work anywhere in the world.
That's the plan, yeah.
Yeah, but you can... Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah, and you would be surprised also like when you're learning Chinese, obviously you're learning a great skill, like the Chinese language. But at the same time, being able to speak the language of the local people, the Chinese, the Taiwanese, you also get a better understanding of what they feel, of how they are expressing themselves. Because, a lot of people there, they know English as well, but it's a bit more difficult to understand their emotions and their feelings and what they're actually trying to express when they are using English. If you use their local language, you get much more of what they mean, actually.
Right. Yeah, there's also, every language has its own unique ways to express feelings. Spanish has a couple of ones as well. I forget which one it is, but it means like, and it's like a special kind of endearment or something, and you cannot translate that in English. You can only describe it loosely.
All right.
And
apologies, my Spanish is not as good as my Chinese.
Yeah. No, but I mean that's yeah, sure, man. Yeah, I'll have one. I'll have a glass of wine, man.
I'll help you to a glass of wine, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah, but like language is also a huge part of culture, and I think that's especially true in China because their culture is so old, and so much has happened.
Old as modern language as well, huh?
Yeah. And I mean, fuck, the communists surely like fucked them up badly, man. Like their culture has just gone to shit because of that.
Well, especially during the Cultural Revolution.
Yeah, it's a tragedy, man.
They basically destroyed everything that was a norm of society in any way or a tradition.
Yeah, it's like thousands of year old traditions, just gone.
And that's what I quite like about Taiwan is that even though Taiwan has a number of ethnicities and cultures mixed together, the Chinese culture, the ancient Chinese culture, is still very much alive there. Confucian values are very much alive.
Yeah, I found Taiwan to be a very nice, friendly place.
Exactly. Yeah. So that is also one of the reasons why I think I would prefer living in Taiwan maybe over China is because you get the authenticity as well.
Right.
Whereas Chinese society was basically rebuilt with the introduction of communist ideology.
Yeah.
Or Chinese communist
So
ideology.
you're basically living in a place that with a culture that's like barely 50 years old or something, or no, 100 years, I think.
Well,
It's very recent.
Taiwan story historically is
No, I'm talking about China now.
Oh, China. But I don't live in mainland China.
I'm just saying, like their culture. Their culture is just
about
like,
50 years.
It's 50 years old.
Yeah.
And it's a shitty culture to begin with. Fuck communists, man. Fuck that shit. That doesn't work. Come on. That doesn't work. It's bullshit. So you're basically dealing with a 50-year-old shitty culture.
Yeah.
And Taiwan still has way stronger connection to what China is really supposed to be, right?
Well, what you see in China now, what's quite interesting, like, yes, under Mao Zedong, they did have a very strong, communist ideology. They wanted to do things for the people, and even though it didn't really work in the end, you could still say that it was a communist ideology. But present-day China is not necessarily really following the laws of communism. It's actually following the laws of extremely liberal capitalism.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, like their trade is as open as can be, obviously still via state control. But the links with communism are mostly lie in symbolism. Like, for instance, the way their National Assembly is decorated. They have communist signs everywhere, and in the constitution there's still references to the communist heritage.
Well, I mean, they're obviously this is the way I look at it. They're a communist country that just does whatever is the best for them, and if those things happen to align with how capitalism works, well, I think that's more a happy coincidence than that they're just, all right, man, let's be open,
Yeah, I'm not, because, like when you look at communism, you look at, Karl Marx, and also maybe Lenin afterwards. They all have like slight variations of what communism would amount to.
Yeah, but fuck both those guys.
Actually, like the ideas of Marx, I think they're very utopian, but it's...
Well, I mean... Don't fall for that shit, man.
They are utopian, but
it just doesn't work that way.
But it doesn't work because, humans are not built that way. If you get your wage regardless of your performance, you're not going to work as hard as you would.
Incentives gone, competition's gone, and it's unavoidable that when people have more power than others, that there's corruption eventually. I mean, that's just going to happen. That's not some anti-government bullshit story. That's just a fact.
True.
And that's what always is going to happen. There's, all pigs are equal, but some pigs are a little more equal than the others. That's always what it ends up being.
And that's also what happened in China. I think the government there, especially around the 90s or a bit like 80s, 90s, they realized that they cannot just put all policy out of the name of communism and work according to these communist ideals, because it was just not going to work. And as a result, right now, China, it's super open and free. Oh, I mean, free for trade. Obviously, still state-controlled, arbitrary intervention, but the communists, like the whole communist aspects of the state, they are. It's more that they say like, well, we're a communist nation, and that's why we are the big Chinese state, and we should stick together because of communist China. But in reality, I would disagree with the notion that China presently is a communist state in the sense of Marxism or Leninism. No, obviously not. And yeah, it is a country that's obviously not democratic, but there are a lot of alternatives to democracy and communism as well. You can also have just plain old totalitarianism.
Right. Yeah,
right?
Dictatorship.
Yeah.
Yep. And in some countries that creates the most stability,
It does.
I mean, look what happened after Saddam was removed. I mean, that's a mess. I mean, he was a really very bad guy. He was a horrible guy. But while he was running the place, there was, it was pretty stable. It's kind of like, what's the lesser of two evils, really?
Yeah, it's always a question. That's also a question that our researchers are on. They're looking to find out, when does democracy work and when does it not work?
Right.
And like, here in the Netherlands, it obviously does work.
Yeah, I mean, democracy is not for everybody. I mean,
it seems like it. Yeah.
I mean, and we didn't have democracy all the time. I mean, we had the monarchies, and so we went through that kind of phase too in our own unique kind of way.
It's tough though when when people are demonstrating for their own democratic rights. You cannot help but sympathize with these people because you would be the same.
Yeah, I mean the right to peaceful protest. That's a very important thing, I think. Peaceful protest.
But then when the state suppresses that violently. You can either say, well, that's the system that you have, and that's what the country should have, a repressive dictatorship to keep down the loonies. But on the other hand, like coming from the Netherlands where we respect individual freedoms, you cannot help but sympathize with these people as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Yep. Yeah, we went deep there, man.
Pretty deep.
All right, so you're in Taiwan.
I am, yes.
Yes.
Well, now I'm in your garden, but I do live in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Permanent residency. No, temporary residency.
How long are you allowed to be there?
My current identity card, because I do have one, it allows me to travel in and out of Taiwan until next year, summer 2018.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Can just like show it, bam, entrance, bam, out.
That's sweet.
I know.
Yeah, so you're there learning Chinese?
Yeah, learning Chinese and doing a master in so-called Asia and Pacific Studies.
That's a big field.
It is. Yeah.
Cool. I think you won't have any problems finding a job, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, I hope to start working next year, so we'll try to put that into practice. I'll let you know how it goes.
Well, if things end up going the way I think they will, pick me up once in your private helicopter, man.
I'll make sure that I'll do that as a return for this great opportunity. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on, man. Like, not everyone wants to do it. People are kind of, they're kind of nervous about it or something, or they just don't think, they're interesting or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I appreciate it, man. It's fun.
Yeah, talking to you is always relaxing and fun. So no reason why not to, right?
Fuck yeah. I'll drink to that, man. Cheers.
Hey, let's, here we go.
Boom.
Yes. Some good red wine.
It is. My grandma gave it to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Your grandma has a good taste.
Oh yeah, she loves a good life, man. That's I definitely inherited that trait from my family, man.
That's what we call mad props with your gran down south, right?
She's cool, man.
Yeah.
Oma Els, Grandma Els.
Grandma Els. Yeah. Shout out.
Hey, you met her once when we were in a band. Like, we didn't even open up with that. We should start with that. We were in a little rock band when we were 15 years ago or something.
Extremely successfully locally.
Yeah. We had we played a couple of gigs, man.
Yeah.
We did a battle of the band and
won the first round.
We won the first round.
Yeah.
And the cool thing was your position would be determined by how much beer the bar sold that night. We were up against like one band that had a huge fan base with them. Like they had like, were huge for us locally, I guess. It was like in a smallish bar. So they had like 30 people with them or something. 30 dudes just ready to drink. And we had a group of around like 10, 12.
Like Dick's friends, basically.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, just my friends and just the people who happened to be in the bar that night to watch.
Mm.
And we had a smaller group, but yet we sold way more booze than
Dude, that beer went like how do you call it? Like a loop in the band,
like a conveyor belt.
Like a conveyor belt almost.
Yeah, we were band that really got the party started everywhere.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
that was the one thing we were just really good at, man.
Oh man, good times, man. That's like some real good memories right there,
dude. Yeah, it was always just by the time we went into the second song, it was just a party, man.
Oh man,
like everyone was getting into it and kind of interacting, and Rick,
and we all
would just give the mic to someone in the crowd and shit, and
we all had like our solos and like our little
we had drum solos, guitar solos, and we were actually pretty decent too, man.
That night was probably like we raised the bar a little bit.
Yeah. I'm sure I've got some grainy recording somewhere, man.
Really?
We
should watch that.
Yeah, I will. I'm gonna search in my computer tonight, see if I can find it. I'll put it in the show too.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm sure the listeners would appreciate.
Yeah, I'll put it in the end.
That musical greatness that we unearthed that night.
Yeah, and people listen to this. What the fuck? These guys suck. What are these retards doing? Like,
hey man, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder.
That's very true. But I think I sold it pretty well there.
Yeah.
People are gonna want to listen to it now.
For sure.
All right, but you're in Taiwan, and besides pursuing your studies there, you also got a little business going there, and you're like a DJ too.
Yeah.
And an Instagram star in Taiwan.
Yeah. Life in Taiwan is great, I tell you, Dick.
Yeah. I love the 2 weeks I spent there with you.
There's actually, this foreigner who has this YouTube account that made a video of reasons why not to come to Taiwan. But that was made in order to repel other foreigners from coming as well, so as to keep the whole experience to ourselves. Because man, it is great living there. People are super nice. It is a bit bad, but like foreigners are being discriminated positively.
I noticed that, man. When I was there, dude, I felt like a rock star. It was fucking awesome.
I know, and you should feel. I don't know, like it's not really fair, but it does still feel good to be treated.
Dude, it's fucking... I don't give a fuck. It's great. Please don't change that.
Yeah. Also, like Taiwanese guys, super nice. Taiwanese girls, also very nice.
It's, like when I go to a bar, like I always like talking to chicks, but I always have to go up to them. But when I went there, before I ordered my first drink, there were two of the hottest chicks in the bar who came to talk to me.
Yeah. Beautiful life, right?
And it was amazing, man.
Yeah. and that's also a reason why and
all the Taiwanese dudes they were annoyed with it too.
Yeah, there is a current in Taiwan that's like not really happy with the attention that some of the foreign guys get. But
well, hey man, I can't help it. But and I don't feel bad at all for enjoying the shit out of it.
Like in one word, Taiwan is a nice country to live in. People are nice, and food is quite cheap. Rent is very cheap, and in that sense, like they're also a very free society. They have like a full going democracy, and you can say whatever you want. You can protest against anyone who you want. It's basically like I would say the most developed democracy in Asia.
Well, I think Japan still has that crown. Don't you think?
The second most democratized country in Asia.
Yeah. Yeah, but I was impressed with it. Like when I went there, I had no idea. I had not much idea about the country. I knew it was next to China, and that's like a. I knew like the broad facts about it, but and I saw pictures of the city.
Read
and
a couple of books.
Yeah, and but when I got there, I was very impressed with it, it was a little, it's a little, it's not super clean. It's a little messy. It's a little dirty, but kind of like
has character.
Kind of like Bangkok, I'd say. But everything all the trains run on time. Everything works. It's very harmonious, you know.
Yeah,
and everything's it's nice.
Yeah, no, definitely life in Taipei is quite nice, and the government offers
super safe too.
Super safe. Actually, it's safer than the Netherlands. There are a lot of people who I personally know who just forgot their cameras and mobile phones on buses, metros, trains, even on the street. They dropped it on the street, and it always came back. And that's on those moments I actually did feel like, damn, like, you know, my country could also learn something from this.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
and it's a bit of
I was very impressed by that.
Yeah, a bit of a reality check, you know, like especially a lot of Westerners, they feel that, you know, like Western Europe or America or Northern Europe, it's basically the best states in the world. But when you find these situations where all of a sudden people are so nice, and you know the things that you lose are not being stolen but actually returned, even though there might not be any repercussions for these people, it does make you realize, like, damn, you know, it can be better.
For sure, yeah. Well, I mean, different aspects, though. I mean,
of course.
We do a lot of other things really, really well that they don't do well at all.
Definitely.
And it's the other way around as well. Yeah. I think we can learn a whole lot from each other, you know. Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
And I think it's kind of I don't know if you can even define it as better or worse. I mean, it's just, I can totally see if you really got used to the way the world works over there, that you might just prefer it over the way it happens here. You know, I have a hard time imagining that would happen to me, but I can totally see if, you know, someone just finds that a more pleasant way to do things.
Yeah. Well, you know, like one of the practical nice things, like if you go out here in the Netherlands to a bar or club, you know, you can obviously talk to people, but in general, I would say people are a bit hesitant to let new people to their group of people that they're comfortable with at that time.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of there's definitely a little barrier when you want to start a conversation with a stranger.
Hey, do I know you, or
that's the first question. Why are you talking to me?
Yeah. But whilst in Taiwan, when you go out, especially the nightclub scene, people are very approachable. You can talk to them, and you know, as long as you're not too creepy, dick, to girls, then, you know, you're welcome. And they happily talk to you for like 10, 15 minutes, or, you know, if it clicks for longer.
The fuck are you insinuating
Nothing
there?
at all. But yeah.
We might have the first on-air fight here.
Oh, snap. It's like there. No. But yeah, what I mean is that people are very approachable in Taiwan, and they're open to talk to new people from different backgrounds. I like that.
Yeah, it's again, I found that to be very nice, you know. It's
and they fixed your phone for free as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I had this Sony Ericsson Z3 compact. I remember that thing, man. I thought I was going to love it, but it ended up being the worst phone I've ever had. What a piece of shit that thing was.
It's a nice advertisement right now for Sony.
Yeah, I love Sony. Like they make, I love their hi-fi stuff, and they make really good speakers as well.
Just not their Z3 branch.
But yeah, their phones, they're just, I don't know what, it's just a different company within the company, I guess, but their phones are just shit.
Yeah.
In my experience, but anyway, I had this piece of shit phone, and the screen came loose, and I, you know, just a glass detached from the phone, and went to this phone fixing
booth,
and just showed it to him. Oh yeah, we can fix it. You can come back in half an hour.
That was great.
Yeah, and I'll put a picture and a link to them too, because I was so happy with them that I made a note of it. Aww. But yeah, so we came back and they just fixed the thing for free, you know. And I was like, but I want to pay you. No, that's not necessary, man. Like you're in my country. I like that you're here, and I just fix your phone for you. I want you to have a good night. It's all good.
It's very representative, I think, of Taiwanese spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why I like being in that environment there. Yeah.
Yeah, but tell me about your DJ gig. Like, you're a king down there, literally.
Yeah. Yes.
What's your Twitter or Facebook handle or whatever?
My fan page name, my alter ego, it's called King Ming. So like a king and then Ming, Ming. Also on Facebook, I report often in Chinese actually. So I'm not sure if our international listeners would understand that with the text, but
but the translation on Facebook works pretty good. So.
That does, yeah. And there's photos, videos of my life there. So
are you on Instagram as well?
I am, but more as my personal profile. I don't have
Okay.
So anyways,
Instagram's where it's at, man.
Yeah, gotta invest more in that stuff. Anyways, so I already started DJing when I was in college and just kind of messed around there. And then when I was in Taiwan, I tried to capitalize on that. Obviously, everyone, if you have time, like, you always try to make an extra buck,
Sure.
that you can spend later. I tried to use my DJ skills in order to do so. And I got a few gigs, pretty cool, like a few nice anecdotes. This one time I was playing at this pretty big party of a university who rented out a pretty nice big club in Taiwan. And they had prepared this McDonald's snacks for us backstage. And there was just like this whole big old pile of McChickens. And it wasn't going to be finished. It was already kind of like, it was getting a bit late. And I know I had a lot of friends in the audience. So what I did is I was just like, I grabbed my shirt, kind of pulled it out, and just put all the McChickens in like a little pouch from my clothing. And I just went into the crowd and I came to my friends and I told them, like, here, grab all these McChickens. And, being the drunk bastards that they were so overjoyed with the sensation of McChickens on their palates that they were, oh, thanks so much. And, just great times, really, actually, doing that. And, I did a few performances, DJing as well. But, via that, you can expand your familiarity with other people, and you can also get other opportunities, like modeling, for instance.
Yeah, I saw a couple of modeling photos of you, man. You were getting married to some chick.
Oh, yeah, that was a marital shoot, which happens a lot in Taiwan. I don't know, has this been coming along in the Netherlands as well? That before your marriage, you have like a ton of professionally taking pictures of the husband and the wifey, and
I don't know. They should do that afterwards, right? I mean, it's bad luck if you see the bride.
Yeah. Well, anyways, in Taiwan, that's a huge thing. So we did a shoot for like a bridal photographer for him to do some advertising. Hot girl and me. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Handsome motherfucker.
Hey, nah, it's all right, man. Anyways, so it was me and her, and we had some good photos taken. And then, the muse make some more money that, always comes in handy.
Yeah, and, like you said earlier, because a lot of doors are open up very easily for, for a white dude.
It's all for your personal network as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to take advantage of that, man. Like, take every opportunity you get.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, like we're all dealt a hand of cards. Some are better than others, but you still got to use them to your maximum potential.
For sure. Yeah, always go for the highest possible outcome, man.
Of course.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna put those ribs in the grill, man.
Nice.
So I don't know, maybe grab a couple of beers. I'm getting a dry mouth, and
all right.
maybe take a leak.
All right.
And then we'll talk further.
All right. Great. See you later, guys. So. I'm also recording, not recording, but live streaming to Taiwan.
Oh, shit.
I should have started that recording earlier.
Oh, yeah, you should. All right. So we're live in Taiwan now?
Yeah, I'm gonna see how many followers we'll get, but
Where are you on? Which platform?
it's an app called Up Level Taiwan, and what is quite hot right now in Taiwan, apart from the weather, is also this app, which is basically like live streaming, and then people can give you presents, or they can follow you, and
It's kind of like Periscope, I guess. That's another app, I think.
I'm not too quite sure what Periscope is.
Periscope is like you can live stream, and that's all it does, and it saves your live streams. So
I think it is, yeah.
how do people find you in there? You put topics in there, or what you're talking about, or
Basically, it's
see, like I can't have that, man.
No?
Nah. That's maybe if you put it on airplane mode,
yeah,
and then turn on the Wi-Fi, because Wi-Fi doesn't.
Does it allow Wi-Fi?
Yeah, Wi-Fi doesn't interfere.
这个荷兰的比较基本的那个 podcast 录音，真好。
Do you have a lot of watchers?
They'll probably increase as we'll go. But for now, we'll just be. I'm actually quite new to this app as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll just let them enjoy the recording.
How many people are watching now?
To be honest, I don't really know. This is the first time I'm using this.
So you can't see it?
I think you can, but it's also in Chinese. So
yeah, so I can help you there.
yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I think we were talking about your DJ gig.
Oh yeah, my side job's earnings in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Amazing. So apart from DJing, which was already
Talking to Mike.
ultimately awesome, I also managed to get a job as a PR in a club, and basically you just invite your friends to attend these parties, and you get paid for it.
Yeah, it was all right. Just put it in a place where you're comfortable.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't matter if it hangs upside down or whatever.
yeah, this is all right.
Yeah, it's all right.
Awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
point it up a little bit.
Bam.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So being a PR in Taiwan, it's amazing. It's you just invite your friends to the club that you work for. You don't even have to like walk the streets or really push people into a club. You just invite them, and depending on the number of your friends that goes to the club, you get paid.
That's
Amazing
cool.
stuff. Yeah. And recently, even I started working at this place where they have these where beer pong is their specialty.
Yeah.
Actually, and they have these.
There's you just showed me a very funny photo of you.
Yeah. so we have these like.
Where can I? What's that ad? Like you got to send it to me, man. I'll put it in show notes. It's funny.
all right. I will. I'll definitely show it.
You look like James Bond playing beer pong.
So basically, we have these tables which have like motion sensors and like ping pong balls with microchips in it, and when it hits the cup, then like it records your performance, and have an app that you can use together with it, and yeah, it's just so much fun actually.
Yeah, it's like digital beer pong, I guess.
It is, and it really,
without the crazy physical part. I think that's the only way you can really do safe beer pong inside a bar. People not jumping over the table and dunking their ball and shit.
Exactly. So that's why we use the technology there.
Oh, that's funny. That's a great concept. I'm sure that could work here too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. That's just so much fun.
Yeah, it is. Plus, the loser pays only.
Really?
So you're kind of playing on people's pride, and
right. Well, that could lead to fights.
Well,
I mean,
the fights.
I don't know. I just imagine that being involved can just lead to bad situations.
Well, like people kind of accept, like, all right, if I lose, I'm gonna have to pay 16 euros.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And if you win, you have free beer, right?
I guess I've been hanging out in the wrong bar.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So but you were also DJing.
Yeah. So for DJs, there are two types of roads you can walk, and the first one is very time consuming. When you produce your own music, obviously, then your original, and also the potential is also greater. But for a student like me, I just prefer to take the other road, which is you just download as many cool songs as you know and can find online, and then in the club you mix them together so that there's a smooth transition between the two, because in the end people just want to hear nice songs,
right?
And
did you what kind of music would you play? Would you play just really crazy out there?
Maybe not as crazy as your type of music, Dick,
but no.
But like in Taiwan, the preferred music for Taiwanese often is still EDM, electronic dance music, which is obviously not your favorite.
No, I don't like it, man. But there's, but there's within that realm, there's some some pretty crazy stuff recently too.
Yeah.
You ever listen to this? They call it retro wave.
I might or might have not.
It's crazy, man. When I was in New York, my friend there introduced me to it. And they use samples and sounds from the 80s.
Yeah.
So very synthy, just synthesizers and the big echo drums and everything. And they also use, it's weird, they also use sounds from like background ambient music from horror movies. And they also mix some video game sound effects in there. It's really weird. And the songs they're like 4 to 5 minutes long. So it's almost like listening to rock music in a way. And the biggest guy in that genre is a huge metalhead.
Really?
Yeah, and he just kind of came up with that. His name is Carpenter Brut. It's a French guy. No one really knows who he is, and it's unlike anything you've ever heard. It's and I can totally see why someone would hate it, but there's just a lot of depth in there.
Yeah.
I just I hate electronic music, like
I know you love it so much.
Fucking droning beat.
You can listen to it all day, all night, right?
Well. The thing why I have such a dislike for it, within like 20 seconds I figured out all the layers that are in there.
It's very basic, yeah.
And I'm like, well, I get it, surprise me, put something new in there, but it's just like the same. It's very shallow music, if you will, and I just get bored and annoyed with it because there's just nothing there. I guess that's the point, because that's all you want when you're high on ecstasy. I mean,
well, they're not all high on ecstasy though. They're
well, I've been at a couple of these parties, dude, and believe me, I mean, if I say 80%, that's probably still conservative. It's just like kind of like the Walking Dead of love, I guess. Like everyone loves each other, everyone's just zonked out of it. Everyone is in this like weird utopian mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you're in that state of mind, I can understand why you want simple music. To kind of like float on. You just have a beat going that's just kind of like the heartbeat of what's going on, kind of. I think that's more the point, and I don't like being on ecstasy and doing that kind of stuff, so I guess it's not for me,
I get the idea that perhaps EDM that
just serves a different purpose.
It's a bit more basic, easy to understand,
right?
For the mass publics. So in that sense, that's often being played in Taiwan. But my favorite type of music to play in clubs is trap. I'm not sure whether you're familiar with it.
Isn't that like some kind of hip hop thing?
A hip hop electronic kind of mix.
Yeah. It's.
I don't know. It sounds so gangster, and I can like.
Okay.
I can really bounce on that.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I've heard it a couple of times. I was like, oh, what the fuck is that? So yeah, that's trap. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty intense.
It is sort of intense, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and this is that. I imagine that music is not very mainstream over there. So you're kind of playing the crazy shit, right?
Trap is far from mainstream there. Mainstream is still just electronic dance music, so EDM. Bum, bum, bum.
Hmm.
Everybody fucking jump. You're your favorite. So that's the mainstream. But then, trap, even though it's already quite mainstream in like Europe, for instance.
Yeah.
It's
in the US as well.
Yeah. It is just being introduced to Asia as we speak.
Right. Well, maybe if you start playing retro wave, man, you'll introduce it there.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that goes.
I think you'd love it, actually, man.
Oh, I will definitely give it a listen. Yeah.
Yeah. Google that shit, ladies and gentlemen. Carpenter Brute. It's interesting. It's something different, which is always good. It's an original new thing. Yeah.
Safe. We will definitely give it a listen, Dick.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, all right.
What else? Yeah, I can urge everyone, I think, to check out the all of you young people there, 20 to 30 years old, 18, 19 as well, to check out the website of your local Taiwanese representative office, see what scholarships they offer, and see if it's something for you. I mean, living in Taiwan 3, 6, 9 months, you can decide for yourself. You might be able to get a scholarship, nicely paid. And, really stepping out abroad, experiencing a new culture, especially one as safe as Taiwan is, will surely be an experience that you'll cherish the rest of your life. Yeah.
And if you learn Chinese,
then you're even more badass than other people. Yeah,
for sure.
It's like straight up gangster, you're in a club or you're in a situation where you see a person probably of Chinese heritage and you're just like, hey, man, 你好.你在这边干嘛?
No, but dude, that kind of works in everyone. Can you imagine what happens if you walk up to a couple of chicks in a club and or in a bar or whatever, and you just start talking Chinese to them? Dude, that's the best opener you in the world, probably.
You won't need another icebreaker ever in your life.
No.
Yeah. The next step is to be able to speak Taiwanese.
That's traditional Chinese, right?
No, actually.
Oh, that's a writing system. I know, like China has simplified Chinese,
exactly.
And Taiwan has traditional Chinese.
Yeah, it's purely writing, indeed. But Taiwanese is like the local language in Taiwan. And when you can speak that, that's like the most gangster that you can get. Like if you especially if you cuss at someone in Taiwanese, you're like, oh shit.
Can you say that? What does that sound like?
For instance, 你给我傻笑.
No, that sounds mean.
That means like, what the fuck are you looking at? And then
Can you say it again?
你给我傻笑.
What the fuck are you looking at?
Yeah. So it's basically, and also one of the words literally means semen. So, it adds a little semen to the mix as well.
Fuck, that's an insult. What the fuck are you looking at? Semen.
No.
With semen on top.
It's like, what the fuck are you looking at? But then you, like, the fucking part is like the word for semen. So it just like adds a new element to the whole, what the fuck are you looking at?
Right. Fuck, that's funny. What's another good one?
The good one is Ganin
Yang.
That's like, excuse my French, fuck your mom.
Ganin Yang.
Yeah.
Ganin Yang.
You gotta try to like close the nose on the Nyang. So Ganin Yang.
Ganin Yang.
Yeah. That sounds rough.
Ganin Yang.
That will probably have upset a lot of our Taiwanese viewers, Dick.
Oh, I'm very sorry.
Oh,
I apologize to the Taiwanese community.
That's very politically correct for you to do, Dick.
Yes, sir. Me keep at a pesca San Cocina.
Oh, snap. That was Dickian for I respect everyone and love every race and culture and religion. Bam.
What's
No?
Yeah, that's what it means.
Yes.
Give me another good one.
Give you another good one. Yeah. You're really putting me on the spot here, Dick. I already whooped out 2 Taiwanese cursing words.
Well, how about just Chinese ones?
The easy one is 去你的.
去你的.
It means
I remember you told me that when I was there too. 去你的.
去你的. It's one of the most basic ones because these 3 characters 去你的 are a character that you learn within 2 weeks of learning Chinese.
Okay.
It basically means like 去 is go and 你的 is like yours, like 你 is you and 的 makes it a possessive verb. So it's like 去你的. It's like, nah, fuck you.
Okay.
Or easy one, we just said 干你娘, remember?
干你娘, yeah.
That was Taiwanese. But you can also say in Chinese, 操你妈.
操你妈.
操.
操.
Yeah. 操你妈.
操你妈.
Ah, perfect.
Oh.
It means fuck your mom as well. Oh, Dick, the things I'm teaching you on this podcast.
Yeah, we're educating the world on how to tell people to fuck off everywhere. But that's an important thing to know, though.
I'm just very content that I taught you some Chinese.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Most welcome, but it'll be €5.
All right. How about a very positive one? How do you say "I love you" or "You're important to me" or something?
I love you. That's a word that a lot of people might know. Like like one thing in Chinese is "ni hao." That's "how are you?"
Right.
Or "hello." But then "I love you" is "我爱你."
我爱你.
Yeah, it's like 我爱你.
我爱你.
Yeah, and then faster 我爱你.
我爱你.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Because the tones are quite important, as we mentioned before. But 我爱你 is it is a very strong expression.
Like whiny. So that's the way you say it.
我爱你.
我爱你. Okay.
我爱你. Yeah, that really means I love you. Like it's a pretty big thing to say to people. Even Chinese, they often don't really say it to their family or
really
occasionally not even to their lovers because they would find it that strong that it would be awkward.
Wow. Okay.
So it's very if you say that thing, then people will take that quite strongly.
Okay.
If you would say it to your business partner, he would be very awkward.
Yeah,
He's
okay.
like, you love me, bro. I'm sorry. I like you, but you're a cool dude. But ain't no love there for you, bro. Perhaps something along these lines.
What about, I think in Taiwan they don't do that anymore, but I was thinking about eating dogs and cats and all that shit.
Actually, recently there was a law that banned the eating of dogs.
In Taiwan?
Yeah. And cats, I've never heard. I know that in China, it does happen quite often, actually, in certain areas, eating of dogs and cats.
Have you ever seen what they do to those dogs? It's horrifying.
Yeah.
It's some of the worst things I've ever seen. It's
something you don't want to see.
No, you
wish you could unsee.
Yeah, exactly. But what they do, they have just this huge wok, like this huge big wok that's like a diameter of like 2 meters or something, 6 feet, and they just boiling water in there, and they just throw dogs in there, and they just throw them in boiling water, and they use big sticks to push them under, and they try to escape, and they just boil them alive. They do that shit. I've also see one guy literally with a fucking like torch, with like a gas torch, a dog on a leash, and he was just burning the dog alive with that torch. They do that kind of shit, man. It's horrifying. It's awful. It's so awful.
Yeah. So yeah, in Taiwan you wouldn't find these things.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
So actually, they treat animals so nice that some of the riverside parks, they actually have like packs of dogs.
Really?
Who were either like set out back in nature by their owners, or are products of that, reproducers of that. So
they have a bunch of wild dogs running around.
Yeah, but they actually do not really attack the Taipeians,
probably because they come from domesticized dogs. So
and because actually people very Europeans or Westerners will find it a bit strange, but Taiwanese people actually go and feed the stray dogs.
Okay.
They bring out like a meal, just put it there, and give it to the dogs.
Yeah, in Bali they did that too. It was it was interesting. Like the dogs just kind of coexisted with everyone.
It's a nice like human and animal bond, right?
Yeah, I mean, apparently there's some stuff going down there with where they sometimes kill them and eat them too. But yeah, I found it that like all the dogs didn't really have any owner, and they just kind of roamed around. They got food from everybody, and they just didn't hurt anyone, and everyone was just kind of fine with it. And sometimes the dogs would just hang out with people, and they would pet them, and yeah, the dogs were kind of like part of the community.
Yeah, and this one time it was pretty.
Dogs are so awesome.
There was this
best animals in the world, man.
There was this Taiwanese lady who was putting they call it a rice box or a lunch box, which is rice and some meat and some veggies.
Is that the bento thing, or?
It's basically like they call it bientang, and it's
that's Japanese, I think.
It's very similar to that.
Okay,
yeah, biento and bientang. It's always a bit of similarity between these languages. Anyways, like this old woman was putting out a bientang for this one lunch box for a dog, and then this other Taiwanese lady actually told her, obviously in Chinese, like, yeah, there are already so many, why are you still giving the food to them? And the lady was like, they still gotta eat and whatever, I was just like, this warmth from the heart, that's pretty inspirational.
Yeah, it's just nice to see. Yeah, I can tell you got a lot of love for the place, man.
Yeah, I do. It's just a bit of unfortunate, the air quality, even though it's not as bad as Beijing, but it cannot be compared to that of the Netherlands.
That's one thing I noticed. Yeah, all these little scooters, and a lot of them are still two-stroke, and they just have, I think, the biggest coal power plant in the world. And yeah, I'm not sure. There we go. I'm not sure how they handle that pollution stuff. I'm pretty sure the rules aren't nearly as strict as ours.
No, they're not.
So yeah, it's one thing I noticed that. What do you want?
Give me that bottle. It's good to put from a mobile phone.
Okay.
And, yes.
Shit, I would like a beer as well.
Yeah, tough luck, son.
Is there another one?
There are beers in the fridge.
Oh, God damn it. It's a hard life, man.
Thug life.
Well, I'll be back. All right. All right, well, Rick just joined the conversation. That's the first show we've done with 3 people.
It's a beautiful man.
Yeah, we have a handsome crew down here, man.
Yes, indeed.
It's a shame everyone has girlfriends. We would have just gone out and just slay some pussy.
Oh, now, Nick. Now.
Yeah.
Anyway, so today our friend and former fellow bandmate Rick has joined the ranks.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you were the singer, right?
Yeah, for about, it was like 10 years ago. Yeah. So then we joined the group together, and it was our first, for all of us, it was a first band experience. Yeah,
it was so much fun, man. It was just,
you can hear that his voice is more honey-like than ours is, isn't it?
Yeah, our voices are just,
like strangled bananas.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, those are some good days, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We played some nice gigs as well.
Yeah. You guys remember that one gig we did in that tiny little bar in Rotterdam?
In Rotterdam.
Yeah.
What was it called?
Yeah, we were at a bar, at a cafe.
Yeah. The cafe is gone now.
Yeah, the cafe it went bankrupt. Yeah.
Yeah. It's now some kind of Turkish
Yeah, one of those smoke shops, I think. Yeah.
Shisha bars.
Yeah, Sisha. Yeah.
Pretty decent, but you know. Yeah.
What's happening with the? Okay, we're still good. Okay.
That was also our last gig.
It was, I think, yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, we rented some stuff. I remember we found out 1 or 2 hours before the show that they didn't have a bass amplifier. So we that show barely even happened. So, but it was...
I was ubiquitous to that fact.
Yeah, well, we wanted to protect you, you know.
I just strolled in with my drumsticks, you know.
Yeah, we tried to protect you because you're the young kid, you know.
Ah, that was so considerate of you.
Yeah. And then the guy, like, people started pouring in once we started playing, so like the beer sales went up, but all the neighbors starting to complain because we
rocked too hard.
Yeah, but we had everything cranked. Like, I remember this bass cabinet was like this full, like 4-speaker cabinet. It was just big, huge.
Too big for the location.
Yeah, way too big. Like built for like a stadium or some shit. And and you know, like everything was like past 6, you know, with 6 out of 10. Like it was, these things were just cranking.
They were blasting.
Yeah. And then the guy kept telling us to turn down, and then the audience got upset with us, and so we slowly turned up again. You know, like every song, just give it a little notch. And
I remember the finals we did in Sliedrecht.
Yeah.
We
that's the Battle of the Band. We talked about it earlier. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's so cool because we didn't have band experience, and we just joined forces together, and like about 3 weeks or something, you arranged the Battle of the Bands.
Yeah, it was. Well, I mean, you got to put some pressure on yourself, man.
Yeah. And we had about 4 times to rehearse, or maybe 6 to rehearse our first songs. And I remember that Thomas got an ear infection, so the last 2 times that we could rehearse, Thomas wasn't there. So it was very difficult to practice because we didn't have a drummer. So it was, and yeah, I remember that myself and Dennis.
Dennis was the bass player.
Yeah, he was the bass player, and we were scared like shit. and yeah, the first time that we played, I had something like, guys, I have no idea what's going to happen. Maybe I just black out and don't know anything or what. And but it went well.
It was. I think that's the best thing we did as a band. That was just such a party, man.
And I remember that I was a little bit too how do you say?
Enthusiastic.
Yeah, exactly.
Hold the mic a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So and there was our first time, and I was a bit too much excited. So like within the first song or the second song, I fucked up my voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So and we couldn't play, but I had to sing the songs a little bit lower. Otherwise, I couldn't do it. So, but it was very, very, very nice. So we get to the final. So it was cool.
Yeah, we got second, like we established that earlier. But it was just good fun, man. If you're a young guy, learn an instrument, play in a band. It's
for sure. Yeah, 100%.
It's awesome. It's so much fun.
And I remember the finals, and Thomas was drumming like super loud.
Oh,
always.
That is my specialty.
Yeah, I was drumming so loud.
He's like a fucking gorilla with those drums. Like, yeah, but it's just ridiculously loud. Yeah. But that's that's awesome, you know.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like if you play in a bar in a live situation, you can, you know, like a guitar amplifier has a volume button, but the drum kit doesn't. So
What can I say? I cannot turn off these biceps.
yeah, but that's the thing. Like, so you're always super fucking loud, so we have to be super fucking loud as well. So
Then we're all fucking loud.
yeah.
And I remember the finals. I went home after the show, after the gig, and when I went to bed, I had like a beep in my ear.
Nice.
we all did. Yeah.
The next morning, I still had the beep in my ear, so I was a little bit scared.
Well, if you crash down on the cymbal, you know, like if you're drumming and you hit the side of the cymbal, which is called a crash, and that's if you hit that hard, you produce like 120 decibels or something,
Really?
maybe 130.
They produce a lot of 120 decibels.
Yeah, I mean, if
Clang, clang, clang.
yeah, but that's like a Boeing taking off. That's like 130 decibels. So that's only three times as loud as that. So that's you know, that's pretty crazy. And if you're close to that, you can have instant hearing damage for sure.
Well, I'm sorry for that.
Yeah.
I have survived it though.
Yeah, I have some samples from it on places on YouTube.
Really?
Like years ago.
Where can we find that?
Well, I think if you just search for under Minefield 9, you press the button and you search for the first video I placed for like the first 4 videos, then you can watch them all.
Okay.
Yeah. That is
All right. Well, I wonder. I'm curious about what you guys think about all that. So check it out.
Good times, good times.
Yeah, it was good fun, man. Awesome. Some of the best days.
Yeah.
What I kind of want to do is just kind of bullshit a little bit until Laurens comes, and then or we can just put the mics down and, you know, wait until he shows up, and then we just he just gets on the mic too, so we end with just the 4 of us.
All right. Well, I must say I can notice a multitude of saliva in my mouth right now.
I can tell. Yeah, it's pretty disgusting
because all of this meat just sizzling.
Yeah, well, I mean, those ribs have to go for at least another hour. Slow cooking, brother.
Slow cooking.
But yeah, let's just put the mics down, wait until Laurens shows up, and then just do a final goodbye.
Safe. All right, bye-bye, people. Yeah.
Right, well, the 4th band member has arrived now.
Laurens.
Yes.
is in the building.
And I figured this would be a cool way to end, you know, like the 4 friends coming together again after more than 2 years. And yeah, I think it's cool to hear all the voices on there.
The band is complete.
Well, thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Guitar player, background vocalist, Laurens.
All around everything.
Gear carrier. All right, man. Well, Thomas, you have a Facebook fan page for your DJ stuff, and you were also doing something with shoes. Tell listeners where to find all that.
Yeah. Thanks, Dick. I got a fan page for all my followers, especially in Taiwan. You know how a celebrity in Taiwan lives it up. It's under the name of King Ming. That's KING MING. You know what I'm saying?
What the fuck?
Keep it real.
And then
Keep it real, man.
Keep it real. In addition, I'm also running a football shoe store, actually out of Taiwan. It's a Formosa football store. So if any of you Taiwanese are listening, best football shoes in town for the best prices. Straight up. Yeah.
Say it in Chinese too, man. Just plug your business in Chinese.
All right. 好，大家晚上推荐就是我的粉丝页，就是 King Ming KNG MING， 就是国王名 King Ming， 是不是啊？之外我也有一个 足球鞋的商店，我们的进口的商品都是直接从荷兰进口，之后我们的足球鞋品质最佳，价钱最合理啊！大家谢谢你们，可以帮我们按个赞，谢谢，都在脸书上，拜拜。
All right, and plug the show.
I understand it. I think
Plug the show in Chinese too one more time.
What was it called again?
The Polarizer podcast, man.
对，大家谢谢你们的关注，就是麻烦大家就是追踪这个
podcast
这个 Polarizer podcast， 这是我的荷兰朋友在荷兰开的，他们都是一直用英文。所以，如果你们也想就是多习惯听英文的话，你们可以多多听这个 podcast Polarizer podcast。谢谢大家。
Yeah, I mean, he could have.
Sounds legit though.
Yeah. Oh man. All right, Rick, and you're into photography. Like, do you have a page where people can find your stuff?
I don't have a like a site.
Okay.
It's more like I worked here and there, and I just keep on meeting people. And when they're interested, they always ask like, "Hey, what are you doing?" So I do something with photography or making videos.
You should put up a website, man. You make some cool stuff.
Yeah. Maybe I do that because now. I have a different job, and after that, next to that, I want to really continue with photography and making new videos, like video clips or.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Lauwens, anything you want to add to this, or?
Well, if we are going to be creative, I mean, I hear DJing, I hear football shoes, I hear production. I'm into graphic design, and my portfolio can be found at laurenzius.com.
How do you spell
LaurenZius.com. Just to keep it short.
Why you gotta be so professional? It's making us all look so bad.
Oh yeah, he's the most straight guy out of all of us at this table for sure. It's
Maybe a little bi-curious.
Okay, and on that note, I think it's time to end this fucking show.
Time, guys.
Yeah, well, thank everybody for listening. Check out, follow the show on Twitter. That's at the Polarizer, _Polarizer, and you can check out the website for articles and photos and all that. You can find me on Instagram at Dutch Diederik. That's where all my photos are. And yeah, thanks everybody for listening. Thanks for being on the show, guys. I appreciate
welcome.
it. I really enjoyed having you on, man.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
It's cool stuff, man. All right, thanks, guys, and thank you for listening and telling a friend and all that shit. And tot ziens.
Bye.
Open, hey.
Had jij deze keer...
You've been listening to the Polarizer podcast. Check the show notes for links and details on literally everything that was discussed and mentioned during the show. Subscribe to this podcast for free on iTunes or your other favorite podcast directory to never miss an episode. And be so kind to give us a 5-star rating and review. Visit thepolarizer.com for high-quality articles on making life an adventure, traveling the world, being the best you can be, and other topics that fuel the fire in your soul. That's thepolarizer.com. One word, including the. Thank you for listening, and thanks for telling a friend. It really makes all the difference.